Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unlocking the ultimate cheat code for mastering those heavy-hitting scoring topics in competitive English exams. Look, if you've ever felt like English grammar is just this endless, frustrating maze of arbitrary rules, believe me, you are absolutely not alone. But stick with me because today we are going to completely clear that fog. Actually, let's kick things off with a super simple question to see if you might be losing crucial exam points without even realizing it. Here it is. Are you good in English or are you good at English? Think about your answer. Lock it in your mind. We're going to reveal the truth a little later on, but it's tiny, seemingly harmless words exactly like these that examiners love to use to test your true mastery of the language. Okay, so let's dive into this by clearly defining our tool. What exactly are we working with here? Well, prepositions are simply the bridges connecting words in a sentence. They show us relationships, where something is, when something happens, or how different words relate to one another. And here's the catch. A small mistake in choosing your bridge, and suddenly your sentence leads somewhere entirely different. The whole meaning just shifts. So, to fix that, we're going to build up your grammar arsenal today in 4 straightforward steps. First, mastering in, on, and at. Second, untangling time, duration, and deadlines. Third, we'll look at exam errors and fixed pairs. And finally, we'll wrap up with a rapid-fire test of your knowledge. All right, let's jump straight into part 1, mastering in, on, and at. We're going to build a rock-solid foundation by conquering this super common trifecta. To absolutely nail these 3, we're going to use what I like to call the time trick. It's a foolproof way to visualize how these words handle time. I want you to picture a funnel, okay? Going from the widest, most open time frame at the top down to the tightest, most specific point at the bottom. In sits right at the wide top of that funnel. We use it for big, long periods. Think years, like in 2026, months, like in January, or entire seasons, like in winter. Now, as we move down the funnel and things get a bit more specific, we switch to on for specific days and dates. So it's on Monday or on the 15th of August. And finally, right at the narrowest tip of our funnel, we use at for a hyper-exact time. At 5 p.m., at noon. Seriously, memorize this funnel trick, and I promise you'll never mix these 3 up again. Moving right along to part 2, time, duration, and deadlines. Let's add some more firepower to our arsenal by navigating a couple of trickier words that constantly trip students up. This brings us to the classic showdown, for versus since. This perfectly illustrates the exact difference between measuring a period of time and pinpointing a specific starting point. For is what you use when you're talking about a duration, a measurable, chunked block of time. You say, I waited for 2 hours, or they played for an hour. But since, that is your starting line. It doesn't tell you how long the action has been going on, it literally only tells you when it began. I have been studying since 2024. She has lived here since Monday. Make sense, right? Now, let's look at by and from. The absolutely crucial point here is knowing whether your sentence demands a strict deadline or if it simply marks where an action begins. By is your ultimate hard stop deadline indicator. When your boss tells you submit the form by Friday, they mean Friday is the absolute latest acceptable time. From, on the flip side, is just a point of origin. It can be a physical place, like he came from Delhi, or a starting time, like the office works from 9 a.m. It just tells you where or when something initiates, no deadline implied whatsoever. Okay, part 3, exam errors and fixed pairs. It's time to navigate the absolute minefield where test examiners are practically praying you'll slip up. Remember that initial question I asked at the very start of this explainer? Well, if you said someone is good in English, ouch, you just lost a point. The correct phrase is always, always good at. You are good at English, good at mathematics, good at sports. This is a massive classic trap because in sounds completely natural in so many spoken dialects. But grammatically speaking, at is the only correct bridge. And oh, here is another incredibly common trap. When we talk about marriage, it feels super intuitive to say you are married with someone, right? Because, well, you're together. But the relationship bridge here must be to. The correct sentence is she's married to him. Definitely lock that one into your memory banks. Now, sometimes the trick is that no preposition is needed at all. I call this a phantom error. People absolutely love to say things like, we discussed about the issue. But think about it. The word discuss already means to talk about. So adding about it, that's entirely redundant. The correct, beautifully clean sentence is simply, he discussed the issue. No bridge required. Here's a golden rule. Always remember that comparing preferences or talking about seniority requires the word to. It completely replaces the word than. You don't prefer tea than coffee, you prefer tea to coffee. And the exact same rule applies to seniority. You are not senior than me, you are senior to me. Okay, I want you to take a mental screenshot of these fixed preposition pairs right now, because they will absolutely appear on your next test. These words, they are permanently married to each other. You are interested in, never interested about. You are good at, afraid of, you depend on, things belong to you, a city is famous for its culture, you are responsible for a project, and one thing is different from another. Seriously review this list before any competitive exam. These pairs are completely non-negotiable. All right, you've made it to part 4. Test your knowledge. It is time for the final boss fight to see if you can instantly spot the correct bridges. Let's do a rapid-fire quiz. Let's start with this one. He has been working here, blank, 2019. Take a close look at the date provided at the end of the sentence and choose your weapon. Are we talking about a measurable duration of time, or are we pointing to a specific, defined starting line on the calendar? If you picked since because 2019 is a specific starting point in time, boom, you nailed it. It's not a duration. You'd never say you worked somewhere for 2019. It's the exact moment the action began. Let's try the next one. Complete the work, blank, 5 p.m. Pay really close attention to the context here. What is this sentence actually asking you to meet? Is 5 p.m. a starting point, a block of duration, or something else entirely? The correct answer here is by, acting as your strict deadline indicator. The sentence is commanding that the work be finished absolutely no later than that specific time. Okay, for our final challenge, take a look at this sentence. They have lived here, blank, 10 years. Focus heavily on the words 10 years. Is that a starting point on a calendar, or is it a measured block of duration? You got it. 4 correctly identifies the length of the period. 10 years is a clear duration, a measurable block of time, making 4 the absolute perfect bridge. By mastering these simple rules, visualizing that time funnel, and memorizing those fixed pairs, you've just transformed a really frustrating subject into a massive personal advantage. You now know exactly how to spot the traps examiners deliberately lay out for you. A single, tiny preposition can change the entire meaning of a sentence, and now you hold the key to using them perfectly. But hey, remember, language is everywhere and always evolving, so here is my challenge to you. As you read articles or listen to conversations today, pay close attention to those tiny, seemingly invisible bridges people are using. Are they using them correctly, or have they fallen into the trap? Thanks so much for learning with us on This Explainer, and we will catch you next time.